Hey class, welcome to lesson 789 titled Ordering Integers and Rational Numbers. If you notice, obviously there are 3 lessons here squeezed into one set of notes. All 3 of these lessons had to do with a similar thing, so you might have to be quick on your feet here to keep up with this big mega lesson, but it all has the same concept, and I think we'll only have to really go through it once. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first half. You can go ahead and copy that. Oops. Here's the first half. And here is the second half, if you want to copy there. Now let's go ahead and scroll back up to the top and take a look at our question for today's lesson, and hopefully we'll be able to answer this by the end of the lesson. It says, how do I order integers and rational numbers from least to greatest? Right? This is not too difficult of a concept when we think of it in terms of just whole numbers, right? We know that 2 is bigger than 1, we know that 5 is bigger than 3, and so on and so on. We know how to put things in order from least to greatest. But here, when we're working with integers and rational numbers, it might take a little bit more work. So, in order to do this, our task that we need to perform is we need to place the values on a number line. The further to the right, or on a horizontal line, or the further to the top on a vertical number line, the greater the value. Therefore, if it's further to the right, it's bigger. If we have a horizontal number line, if it's to the left, it's smaller, right? That's on a horizontal number line. Now, if we wanted to do a vertical number line, then obviously the further up it is, it's bigger, and the further down, it's smaller. Okay, that seems kind of self-explanatory, but it's worth mentioning because these rational numbers can get tricky, especially when you're comparing decimals to fractions. Okay, so as we roll down here, a big key to remember when you go to place values on a number line is we need to remember that you may have to change fractions and decimals so that the types of value match. Okay, you can't go on a number line and put decimals in one spot, fraction in another spot, and expect to always get that right. So let's take a look at an example down here as we get rolling. The question is asking us, example, it says order -2, 0.5, -1.5, and 1.5 from least to greatest. So if we are following our task, and as you recall, the task says to place the values on a number line. Alrighty, so we're going to take each of these values, -2, 0.5, -1.5, and 1.5, and we're going to put them on a number line. But before we do that, you're going to notice something about these values, right? -2 is an integer, so we know where that goes, hopefully. 0.5, though, this is a decimal, right? -1.5, this is a mixed number, but it has a fraction. So we're working with fraction here, and 1.5 is a mixed number, so it means we're working with a fraction. Okay? Since we have an integer here, which we don't have to change, right? But then we have our decimal, fraction, and fraction. Since there's 2 fractions, why don't we go ahead and change the decimal to a fraction? So, as you notice in the notes, step 1 says change 0.5 to a fraction. Hopefully you remember that 0.5 as a fraction is 1/2. If you forgot that, all you have to do is take whatever your furthest digit to the right is, 5, figure out what place it's in. The 5 there is in the 10th place, so that means your denominator will be 10. And then whatever the digit itself is becomes the numerator. So 5/10, and that simplifies to 1/2. All right. Now, I know there's a lot on there. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a lot of it so that we can sort of see what we're doing. So, step 1, we change the decimal to a fraction so that they all match. If we were to rewrite this 0.5, we could cross it out and call it 1/2. And now we have -2, 1/2, -1.5, and then 1.5. Pretty simple, hopefully, at this point, to put it on a number line, which is step 2. Place all the values on a number line. As you notice, I've done a horizontal number line here because I think that's probably what we're most used to seeing. If these are the values we have to hit, -2, 1/2, -1.5, and 1/2, I think an appropriate scale, or by scale I mean the number we count by, it would be 1/2, because as you see, 1/2 pops up in 3 out of the 4 of these. So we'll start farthest to the left with -2, all right, and if you add 1/2 to that, you get -1.5, add another half, you get -1, then -1/2, then 0, then 1/2, which remember is this 0.5, that's why I put that there in parentheses. Then we have 1, and then add again, you have 1.5, all right? So here we will circle the 4 numbers, or the 4 rational numbers that we want to put on the line. So -2 is here, right? 1/2 is here. -1.5 is here. And then 1.5 is here. There we have all 4 of them. Okay? And if we order these in least to greatest, we start from the left. The left is the smallest. So you got -2, -1.5, 1/2 / 0.5, same thing, and then 1.5. Alrighty? So it is as simple as taking all of these figures that you have up here in your question. Oops, trying to get rid of those for us. A lot of drawing there, right? Okay, so it's simple as taking. Oh darn! I gotta get rid of that. Sorry, get rid of this too. It's as simple as taking these 4 rational numbers that it gives us, putting them on a number line. Okay, we want to remember the left is smaller, right is bigger. If it's a vertical number line, the top is bigger, the bottom is smaller. We will practice this in class many, many times, and I don't think you will have much trouble with it after we've done it just a handful of times. So let's scroll back up here to the question, and hopefully we've been able to answer this. How do I order integers and rational numbers from least to greatest? Okay, you put them on a number line and identify which one is farthest to the left, and then so on as you get bigger up to the right. That's all we have for class today. Thank you very much. Goodbye.